I was just waiting for Sean Digger to wrap up his thing. I'm going to put this back with up. He'll come in. Other than that, I just wanted to go over some news before I really settle into things. Is that I was only doing some courses to Tuesday after week 4 of Geek and stuff. But I was like, if they're all going out this weekend, I'm here. I might as well just do it. I was going to do it after Coach Renner's live stream. So it'd be like 4 or 5, but hey, I'm doing it now. I guess 1, 2, everyone else is out, basically. I don't know who that is. I think it might be Nico's. Like that sign for the backdrop for here. But,
No.
I thought you guys were going to be out all day. Seriously. I decided to go do a live stream.
I'm good.
But anyway, it's still a good test for the earbud thing because I finally figured that out this morning as well. There's some cool Avatar and Korra stuff coming out November 30th that I'm talking about. Yeah, so next stream after this bit of a mess is going to be November 14th. Consider that Friday was going to be a bit much on it, but hey, we'll say we sort of would wait till week 8 of stuff back when you powered it on Nick. Which made sense to get 8 episodes for the severe time stuff as well. So I think that would be toward the end of week 6, before week 7 of Yeats. So that sounds like a good plan. And I was thinking, since John Ferry's ending that and Potter's been shot in New Zealand for the longest time now, might as well do a Kiwi film that fits with the topic for my gender studies. One of the gender studies is a feminist film, and Will Ryder came up when I was looking for that. So, yeah. So when I heard about Cars, I took as an excuse to watch Cars 3. So I might as well start with going over of the title of Cars, Girls and Moving Castles. I'm not going to have time to watch this later. Yeah, so Cars, I was thinking like for a long time, like originally kind of like how Doc became Lightning's crew chief at the end of Cars 1. Be like, why didn't Lightning think of following the places of another racer? I think that comes in the end, and I actually does consider that for Cruise, but I think they do coexist briefly for a little bit as racers in that world. Now I was thinking about Paul Newman, who voiced Doc. If he was still around for Cars 2, we probably might have had this more like a Cars 2 film where Doc was going back to his old mentor, and his mentor wanted to meet him, and they get lost or something like that happens. And I think one of the reasons why Cars 2 is kind of so flawed is that it's kind of like Neo Spawn Powder. The B plot becomes the A plot, and became more Mater being a work with spies than the race around the world aspect with the main villain. In the two plots do intersect in the end, which definitely is still pretty good in my opinion. And I made a comparison to Revise at George that they probably changed the wrong thing for the right reason. Although I wouldn't say Cars 3 is a 180 like what happened in Revise when I was looking. So I didn't really actually write much for that, although I really did like Cruz's character and her arc. And I heard a completely different ending when the film first came out. So I really actually liked the ending that I saw. But anyways, Cards on the Road. I didn't watch all the episodes I did with probably could have, since they're all kind of like 10 minutes long-ish, a bit shorter, because there's all they do request for all language at the end, regardless of what your language default setting is for Disney Plus. I don't know, don't like it, don't hate it. So the whole movie is a single arc about Mater's sister Mato having a wedding, and he's actually raised in very wealthy family back east, and the truck one is just a single big old stop at a truck stop, lady look for something, doesn't find anything in the end, but there's a whole music video of the trucks that I thought was kind of funny. The Mad Max from some teasers almost feels like the Crisis of the series. A bit more interconnected than I expected. They did some skipping around like I do. And so the Down part went for a cool twist into the car culture with kind of what we know about the real world. And when they say, so just maybe they say just hitch, which kind of makes sense. You do use that in car culture as well. That is a very interesting twist that Mater came from money in the end, but I don't know whose idea was that, or if that was always kind of the twist. I don't know. It would be cool to learn more about that. The interviews didn't really do that this time, but the only two good things on this list is Girl Dream. So it was the main thing that I was pushing for the stream originally, but there were two twists in here, being two movies, Parent Trap and Howl's Moving Castle. And I did tease I probably would be watching Howl's Moving Castle because my professor brought something up in the emails before the previous stream. Kind of just bullet pointing stuff that happens, and it goes in. I decided to wait till all three came out so I could just binge it all and then do a big write up and get it out. So, Hannah to finding Lost and I serve the reincarnated Black Saint, and her sister is basically an evil human, electric human tackle. I think as I'm trying to think of it, I'll try to cut it down. Evil electric wave human tackle who was an orphan and experimented on by Miss Sunny, is actually an old lady who was corrupted by a spider thing that turned her into the general of that series. I think it was Stronger. It says on the page that those villains come from Stronger. It was like these old days, even if Mio was portraying Kamen and not Seo in this case. Although a few new ones as well, I saw Sukune, but she looked very different in her appearance in Girls Remix, and then she disappeared shortly after Girls Remix was shot. So, and also they said that Honest actress said that was the first time she was transformed into Aguilera, writer form. I also only watched the pilot of X-Aid, so I wasn't really familiar with Poppy's civilian form. I actually thought it was Yaiba at first. She had come back at the end, had a face painting it after all. But no, she's still only Peter's transformed at the beginning of the episode with the female cop from Wizard, who I think is only in the first episode, maybe comes back at the end. So not really familiar at all, so I wouldn't be able to pick her out, but I still have I think it's 7 episodes left to double, and I think there's still one episode of the current arc and another arc left of Futo PI. So that's going to be the November stream. So I can focus on projects. So my main objective for October is going to be focus on the papers I need to write for my general studies class. So that includes the film that I'm going to talk about next stream and visiting an event. I was thinking, so what I do when I go back out to Hershey and do the rent turn, just in 2 weeks, check out Dark Knights and kind of think about the I would say the gender and sexuality of the festive season. We have a bit more big picture. Don't know if I'll handle it, but I'll try my best, and as long as it's good, think it's good. It's gonna be an A. I think it's good. Actually, kind of likes it. Even there's no real like, hey, if it's in and it's actually pretty decent, then yeah, it doesn't really matter how things are going. I'll still ace the course. And also, I have a cool kind of thing I post that ending is there. Sort of like thing like how Miku's the only one who's basically left of Phelps family, his real family in Photopia. Kind of think of sort of like a real family versus found family aspect. When we think of a real family, that constitutes blood or who you were raised by and or family you marry into. Where found family are those you choose to be and are the most important people in your world. It's kind of like from like an old Ren Fair video. Perhaps the company was for NJ Ren Fair, where it ends up where he ends up where they break the fourth wall before they actually sing help the company with the sort of like the kind of like the king or something, because like, oh, this guy knows all my lines. He could be the mayor of the town. I don't know. I'm familiar with the NJ Laurel that fair is right off 130, where the turnpike, where 95 goes from the Pennsylvania branch to the New Jersey turnpike branch. But yeah, a twist that I wasn't expecting would be watching Parent Trap, because my roommates had put it on like one of my first nights here, and I was like, oh, Parent Trap, I haven't watched this in a while. Maybe I can do a write-up for this, because it kind of fits in with the motif of the girl aspect that I was thinking of. So and there's really like a teaser center early on that I never really thought about before, but I haven't watched it since I was like maybe preteen. That's a teaser center much earlier on that Howl knows poker and a deck of cards, and only thing is that start going through all these various challenges. Each sister's pair one-upping each other over the course of camp, and they get sequestered together on the far end of camp, and then they start hatching their plan of switching places to learn more about what happened between their parents, and then eventually get them back together when things start going south with dad's new partner. And also they're sort of like the assistant characters like Chazzy Martin. I don't really think about that at all, but like sort of like them getting together as well. Like, so that the dad, I think, has a nice like big farm ranch. I guess he can have help, and even though mom, I think, is a designer, so that can help. But they met on an old sea liner, kind of the last one of those since the mom wasn't ready to fly yet. That's the story that they give for the '98 version. Obviously, back when the original was made, going on sea liners was much more common. And there are a few ties in between both. And also a lot of Lohan's family appear in the film, including the Lost Boy at the camp. There's also a lot of 747 love in film with the sort of the B-roll of the jumbo jet. And basically the last 747s made were freighters, and a lot of them have been retired. I think even a few more of the modern ones, I think 488 eyes are the last jumbo jets, I believe. I think those have already been lost. But I think there are a few much older ones out in places that really can't have easier access to the newest and best in aviation. I'm guessing the dad Nick kind of just wanted the seafaring card before it was done forever. I don't know exactly on that, but so finally was something I was hyping up at the end of the last year, and that was like a maybe, was Howl's Moving Castle. The film characters in full was based off a book, and we were talking about in the club meeting there's between the book and the film because it was based on a book. And there's a whole lot of German scenery kind of reminded me being in Dinkelsbühl, Germany, which I went to in 2016, part of when I did the American Music Abroad tour. Have a mini-series on history. I was showing you guys over on a music channel that I had some time ago, but I lost all that. All I do hope we saw the original drafts in an old group, and because I was a whole audio mess, and I'm not going to really worry about trying to fix that. But I still have all that old footage. I think I've installed a few clips from there, just like because I had lost some of the stuff originally, so I stole a few clips, like a few screenshots, and then just dumped those into the newer videos. But yeah, Howl kind of comes out as this dangerous playboy when we learn he's a boy with a wild imagination, tired of working for a sovereign in the midst of war, and he actually has two separate identities, so that kind of splits, and the splits him and kind of like, I don't really want to do this anymore, and he was blonde hair, actually imagining he actually had dark hair originally and actually the Firelight Castle, Calcifer, is actually made up of his heart, and so if Calcifer's fire goes out, then Howl dies. And whole actual circle begins is that thing is that how Howl was surprise comes up to at the beginning of the film is that it's like, oh, he knew to find her in the future, and then he comes and finds her at the beginning of the film, and then she ends up coming to him as the old lady onto the thing. Then he finds once her just only has her white hair, like we see in the like I put in the thumbnail, that it was that they're all the same girl. Also, it's kind of like an anti-war message of Miyazaki because of the war in Iraq, and Powdingers was affected by that because in Hurricaneger, there was a peace conference in the episode that was at a snippet good, and they originally did the peace conference, but with the breakout of war, they had to go back and issue as an environmental conference. And basically, his end goal was Miyazaki didn't want the film to be successful in the West, but it's still top gross in Japan behind Titanic and Spirited Away. It's kind of Titanic and the whole seafaring. It's kind of ties all back together a little bit this stream, but and so I guess it's kind of like taking on your curses, mistakes, and coming to live with them. It's kind of like the whole idea of the film, and it's kind of interesting is that who we think is like the main antagonist of the film ends up just kind of being destroyed. It's kind of just kind of like this harmless blob that just wanders with the rest of them, wander with them for the rest of the film as they're chased away by the minister of magic for the queen, I guess. It's kind of interesting, and even how it makes disguises the king try and forestall stuff, but then the magician master figures all out. Yeah, sorry, I thought they were going to be out all day. But yeah, that's not my fault. I just assumed they said they were taking a bus, so I was like, they are going to be going on the 1013 I did yesterday, up to Camden at least, and then maybe transferring or something. I don't know. I don't know what they're up to now or later. But yeah, this gives a bit of a shift and stuff, and just elongates to actually being 20 minutes or so. So yeah, as I said, October 14th will be Super Time Down Fury Well Rider, so basically half Japan, half New Zealand. We're kind of like, so Geet's initial thoughts, Don Builders continued, Down Fury final review, Well Rider, so that's just a review, and then we end. And on Black Friday is Double and Futo PI. Tentatively, I might push that to the Saturday, depending. I might go to a park or something that Friday. Might go to Holiday Park again. Might just push out for Saturday. I will see how things go with that. And tentatively, the December stream will be after Christmas. I'm not sure if I'll go back and watch the new Lord of the Rings series for that, or I might just cut this series in November and basically say, fuck this, I quit the TV film side of things, and this channel just rots for a while until I think of something else better to do with it. Because, I've been thinking about winding this down. With Dino Fury and Double and Future PI, with Dino Fury wrapping up, first season Future PI wrapping up, it might be a good time to just put the nail in the coffin with the TV film aspect and just try and put more energy into History and Leisure. I will think about it probably between November and December, and that's all I say. I really do like his background, though. Enough for rambling. Comment, subscribe, try to hit the bell. There's at least 2 more streams, so I'm just going to keep saying that until this is all done.